We are live. What is going on, Jacktown? Sometimes we have to get ourselves pulled up on the devices. Pretty excited about this. New microphone. Y'all let me know. Can y'all hear me? Thumbs up, everybody, if you can hear us. Let me get everything shared real quick. Give me just a second. This will only take 1 second, and we are going to jump straight in with probably what I consider the most depressing show that I've ever had to do. The numbers that we're going to discuss tonight should absolutely infuriate everybody and scare you to death, frankly. Please hit the share button. That does more for us than anything else you can do. Hit the like button, hit the share button, share it in a group, share it on your Facebook page. Do all that stuff. I'm doing the same thing right now. We're going to get at our sponsors here in just a second. And we're going to jump in with the ugly. Thank you all for jumping in tonight and tuning in. Share it in a group. I wish there was an easier way to do this, and technically it is. As soon as I get a webcam or a new camera, I'll be able to have all this ready in advance. But unfortunately, until then, this is it. Don't forget, tomorrow night will be our high school football show. We will be live. Try to have the scores down a little bit better and depend less on other people's live feeds, and I'll have that worked out a little bit better going into it than I did last week. I will not depend on Super Talk. Okay, we're here. Save Jackson, what's up? I want to thank everybody for taking time out of y'all schedules tonight. I know there's football on. I mean, it is the Browns and the Bengals, so there's probably nobody watching, unless you're an LSU fan watching Joe Burrow. I'm trying my hardest as a diehard football fan to watch football, but they're making it hard. Anyway, another story, another subject, another day. We're going to start tonight off with our sponsors. I want to give a big shout out to our newest sponsor, father and a son, Southern Lawn Care, Danny White and his crew, his family, father and a son, lawn care. You can give them a call at 601-301-3210. Danny is always here on the comments. You can probably see him there. You can probably hit him up directly on Facebook if you see him. That's how we met. Danny is born and raised, lives in South Jackson to this very day. They service Clinton, Byram, Florence, Pearl, Brandon, Terry, you name it, in the Tri-County area here, outside in the suburbs. Again, 601-301-3210. That's father and a son, Southern Lawn Care, Danny White and his family. Again, I've been sticking with it. The gym at Byram. I can't say enough good things about these folks. They've got a ton of specials going on right now. I believe it's no joining fee for the rest of the month. See, I got the specials here. A 1-year membership, a single, is $55 a month. Unlimited aerobics for an additional $45 a month. Discounts 10% off military, police, fire. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Mississippi members get an additional 10% off. 1-year contracts paid in full. You can save some money. Joining fees, $50 for a single membership, but they are waiving those this month, is my understanding. So, let me double check that because I thought I had it written down on the sheet real quick, and I promise I will jump right back into this. All right, here it is. So 12-month contract. Single is $55 a month. The family is only $85 a month. It's a $50 joining fee for a single and $100 for a family, and they are waiving that fee this month. They also have 24-month contracts available for $49.50 for a single, $76.50 for a family. And they do have student memberships available for $35. Long story short, hit up the Gym at Byram across all social media platforms and their website, thegymatbyram.com. You can reach them at 601-372-2229. Again, 601-372-2229, the Gym at Byram. Joining fee has been waived for this month. So check them out. Tell them Save Jackson or Clay sent you. And maybe you'll see me there. I'm trying to stick with it 4 or 5 days a week. I got Crystal over here to my left. She is on there. She is on there. She has decided to stay off camera tonight.
I'm in my pajamas and no makeup.
No pajamas. In pajamas, no makeup. All right. So here's the ugly. Let's just jump straight into it. There's no other way to do it. Jackson is under siege. There's no other way to say it. I want unconfirmed today, somewhere between 1 and 3 homicides. I know for a fact 1. I know there's been at least 3 people shot. So somewhere in the midst of that, it's between 1 and 3 homicides. I'm hearing multiple reports unconfirmed on the deaths of the other people. That puts us at somewhere between 90 and 92 homicides for the month. So that breaks the record. I mean, not for the month. I'm sorry. For the year. 90 to 92 for the year. Coming off 3 record-breaking months of homicides. September is well on its way to setting another record with days like today. So I did a little breaking down of the numbers. I was just curious because so many of y'all gave me hell about my burn the mask meme that I shared and how I was killing Jackson by daring to suggest not wear a mask. So I did my research and I was like, well, let's see what the COVID numbers really are like in Jackson. And is COVID even the number 1 killer in Jackson? Breaking news. COVID is not the number 1 killer in Jackson. It is not. Do you know what the number 1 killer in Jackson is? Jackson. Jackson is the number 1 killer in Jackson. So, all of Hinds County combined, that's Byram, Clinton, Jackson, Raymond, Edwards, Bolton, anywhere else that I can't think, I'm pretty sure that's all the Hinds County cities that I can think of. So, Terry, did I say Terry? Okay, so Terry, anyway. All of Hinds County combined, 163 total deaths from COVID since March. Yeah. If you eliminate the long-term care facility deaths out of that number, and it's just your average Joes, just us walking the streets, 91 deaths from COVID. And we don't know how many of those had underlying health conditions or, all that good stuff. I don't want to get into that. Let's just keep the numbers as the CDC and the state health department have them listed. 91 non-long-term health facility deaths in all of Hinds County. Right. Jackson, Mississippi alone, not counting any of the other cities in the Hinds County landmass. Somewhere between 90 and 92 confirmed homicides.
Stacy Wade said, and the councilman said today, COVID was the cause of all these murders. What a joke.
Well, the councilman is full of crap. So, we're either COVID has killed one more person than Jackson has killed of itself, or Jackson has killed one more than COVID in all of Hinds County. I want to let that soak in. So, 91 non-long-term health care facility deaths of COVID. Let's just say 91. Let's split the difference. 91 homicides in Jackson alone this year. Y'all better share this. This is strong stuff here. People need to hear this. Hit that share button. Let's dig into those numbers a little deeper here. Under 18 or 18 years of age and under, there's been one death reported statewide in COVID. There have been 5 18 and under children in Jackson alone murdered this year in violence. Let me say that again for the people in the back. 1 COVID death of somebody 18 or under. 5 murders in Jackson alone of people 18 or under. 2 of those murders were an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old. They were sleeping in their beds and were shot in a drive-by. 2 separate drive-bys, not even the same shooting. Quiana Davis, 5 years old. Jordan McCoy, 11 years old. More children 11 or under were murdered in Jackson this year than COVID killed. I'll let that soak in. Masks are not saving anybody's life in Jackson. We need Kevlar bodysuits for everybody. I'm going to read the names of the 5 children who were murdered in Jackson this year. We're going to say their name. Everybody has begged to do this year. If in any police involved shooting, say their names. Say their names. So we're going to say their names tonight. There were no protests, no rallies, no buildings burned down for these people, these children. Vincent Kennedy, 17 years old. Jordan McCoy, 11 years old. Quiana Davis, 5 years old. Jabrandon Lewis, 17 years old. Anthony Beasley, 14 years old. And there were another 3 murders were of 19-year-olds. I have an 18-year-old daughter.
They're all
That's a baby.
They're children.
A 19-year-old was a baby in the big picture. So, again, I was told to change the name of this page to Killin' Jackson for simply saying, I'm going to burn my mask when the mandate is over. I don't think anything I do with this page is killing Jackson. And it ain't even about me. I'm just making a greater point here that we have a serious, serious problem in Jackson, Mississippi. And what do you do about it?
Amy Swindenberg said that the other day,
Talk a little louder.
okay, so grateful I made it out with my life the other night when my friend and I were robbed at gunpoint by some kids. I asked her where, and she said McDowell Road by Interstate. I had no business being there, but still.
So the other day, 3 minors, I think 14, 15-year-olds, got arrested for multiple carjackings and shootings and all that stuff. I did not even know until last night. One of those victims was my first cousin, Angie. She paints houses. She got out downtown and kids were pointing a gun at her, and she thought it was a joke. She thought it was a toy. The kids were so young. She shoves them out of the way, and they start shooting at her. Shot at her 5 times. Mm-hmm. Shot at her.
Okay.
Yeah. This Crystal's just hearing about this for the first time. She was asleep last night when I found out, and I forgot to mention it today. My first cousin, Angie Yates.
Yeah.
Angie Renfro. You know, is her government name. So she was shot at 5 times, and I need to talk to her. I don't know if they got her car or not, but those 3 kids got my first cousin. Mr. Save Jackson here. First cousin gets shot at 5 times by 15-year-olds in Jackson. And I didn't even know.
Who got shot?
But they carjacked like 3 other people in the same day.
Okay. It wasn't Angie though?
Well, they tried to. Okay. We'll go over it when we...
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know all the details. I just know. So,
Crystal's
in shock over here. So, it can hit home to anybody. Angie lives out in Pisgah. Just happened to be working in Jackson for the day. Yeah, Ashley asked, same kids. Yes, Ashley, the same kids that got arrested for that.
Some people are asking, where are the parents of these kids?
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
A lot of these children, a lot of these children's parents are nothing more than children themselves. You know, and they're clearly JPS deciding to take the year off. Kids are out running hell in the streets and are raising hell in the streets and doing whatever they want. Parents are at work. Or not, or whatever. You know, I don't know their parental situation. But let's just say they're at work. And, you know, you don't know, when the streets are raising your kids, you never know what's going on. I don't know. I don't know the families, whatever. But, it's a bad situation. It's a dangerous, bad situation. At 14, 15 years old, you don't understand the consequences and the repercussions of actions of such a magnitude. Mm-hmm. It's terrible, terrible. So, again, if you're tuning in a little late here, homicides either equal or beat Jackson, Mississippi homicides either equal or beat by 1 total COVID deaths, excluding long-term health facilities in Hinds County. That is a terrible, terrible statistic. That should scare the hell out of everybody. I had to look at it 3 or 4 different times, write it down on paper, and read it and check it again to make sure I was seeing it right, to believe it. Like, surely this isn't true. Checked it again today. There was 1 COVID. Here's another disturbing number. Today, there was 1 COVID death in all of Hinds County. And there was somewhere between 1 and 3 homicides in Jackson alone. I want to make a smart-ass comment about masks, but I don't want to be disrespectful to the people who lost their lives.
It is real. I mean...
well, COVID's real.
Saying it's not real.
But it is not the biggest threat in Hinds County.
No.
Hinds County is the biggest threat to Hinds County. Jackson is the biggest threat to the state.
Christy Morano says these kids, they need to start whipping these kids' butts.
They need to start beating these kids' asses.
Well,
Just say it.
Yeah,
I'll say it. Need to start beating these kids' asses.
And beating parents is what she said.
I've never ever thought that the parents of children should suffer consequences of their kids' actions. But at this point in Jackson, extreme times call for extreme measures. I don't know. Maybe arrest the mayor and start charging him with these homicides. At least they'd get him out of office.
People asking me about self-defense classes. I told them Tiger Rock and Brendan does them. I'm sure. Do you know some other ones?
Yep. There are some others, and I'll get those for y'all. There's a couple. Anthony Mitchell, I forget the name of his studio. It's great. There's several around here as far as self-defense classes. Unfortunately, the self-defense you need in Jackson is just a gun. And somebody that's always got your 6 when you're out of the car. Mm-hmm. You know, when we go and take these pictures of Jackson and all this in these rough areas, it's either me and Crystal. One of us are, she's always watching my back. Crystal is a chick with a gun and she is not afraid to use it. Or I've got another friend with me and they have their gun. It's just, it is what it is. There's no shame in it. That is where we're at right now in society. It's very sad. So moving on a little bit from that, and we'll work our way back to that, I'm sure, here at the end when we start taking comments. So it looks like Deion Sanders is going to be Jackson State's next head coach. Sports Illustrated is reporting it. All your major quote-unquote sports outlets are reporting it. I guess I need to see what Rob J is saying, because Rob J is the end-all be-all on Jackson State athletics. But since he's affiliated with the school as the voice of JSU, I don't know if he's allowed to say anything until it's official. But look, that's great from Mississippi. Let's be cool with this. It's getting a ton of national attention for the right reasons. So kudos to JSU. I've told y'all before, I grew up a Jackson State fan. My dad had a store on Lynch Street. Met Walter Payton, met Eddie Payton, met Walter Payton's son. Used to play video games with him back in the day. Played running back at Miami back in the day. Anyway, love seeing JSU do good. What's good for the gander is good for the goose. Hopefully the stadium's sold out. But, that puts Mississippi in a really cool spot with college football head coaches. You got Mike Leach at Mississippi State. Very charismatic. You got Lane Kiffin, Joey Freshwater, as he calls himself, at Ole Miss. You get Deion Sanders here in Jacktown. Now, we know he won't live here. He'll be out in Gluckstadt or Madison or on the reservoir somewhere. He won't live in Jackson. But, his family might not even live here. He may just fly in for football season. I don't know. Look, I hope he does. It'd be great to have Deion high-stepping down High Street. Then you have McNair. Aaron McNair's brother at Alcorn. And I'm hearing some cool rumors about who Southern Miss may hire. So we have got some big name excited. It would be great to be in sports media in Mississippi for the next few years due to these college coaches that we have here. Hopefully it translates on to winning on the field, because that's more important than anything. You can have a big name. It'll sell some season tickets the first year. If they suck, people will lose interest very quick. Ask Joe Moorhead. Of course, he wasn't a big name, but still.
And some people are saying they can't hear me very well. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we bought another mic, and I thought we would have two mics set up, one for me, one for Crystal. But we're doing this through an iPad, and with the adapter that I have, only one mic at a time will work. She doesn't want to be on camera, so she can't sit right beside me. So it's either hear me, hear her. I talk more, so
yeah,
I'm hogging the mic. But I will repeat everything she says.
Well, everybody's talking about there are no parents anymore. Nobody is raising their children anymore.
Yep, Crystal was saying that everybody in the comments is talking about people not raising their children anymore, and there are no parents.
Teaching them right from wrong.
And that's not 100% true. There are good parents. The ones in Jackson, it seems to be overwhelmingly lack of parenting in Jackson that is the real issue here. I mean, we can make a million excuses. We can blame it on poverty. We can blame it on education. And all that is true. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, it takes parenting at home.
Yes.
Bad kids can come from anywhere. They come from money. They come from good families, wealthy families, prominent families, married families. Plenty of good kids come from poor families. And I think it's an insult on people from below the poverty line, just not rich kids, however you want to say it. Poor families, let's just say it. It is an insult on working class, poor families to suggest that it's just their kids doing wrong. Because that's just not.
It's not, but there is a big part of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a big part of it.
It have to do with poverty and people young people having kids, and I had children.
Kids having, we're in the full blown second generation of children having children.
Yeah.
There ain't no big mamas no more. Big Mama's 25 up in the club twerking, pee-popping on a handstand. You know, it ain't no Big Mamas no more. They gone. You know.
Well, it's not Big Mama's job. But...
Well, no, it's not Big Mama's job. But, you know, somebody made a good point to me not too long ago. They was like, well, you know, Big Mama raised the hood rat that had that hellion. Mm-hmm. You know, Big Mama's parenting skills ain't so damn good anyway.
That's not true. You get older, you can't keep up.
I know.
You can't.
So, well, look, Jackson's got a bunch of damn problems. Being out of, and I guess we could tie what I'm about to say here back into the COVID stuff and the kids and the murder and everything that's going on in Jackson. They need to be in school. And a lot of the teachers threw a fit. They were scared. They weren't being protected properly. Whatever version of all this you choose to believe, with good leadership, it could have been avoided. Good leadership could have put safety measures in place for the teachers to feel safer. And a lot of that. I disagree with some people on this, and I've kind of gone back and forth. But at the end of the day, I think it's a lot of people who wanted to collect a check to sit at home. Y'all can say whatever you want to about me, but I just think it's, even if you don't intentionally feel like that, I think it's just human nature. It's like, oh, so hold on. I can show my ass and throw a little hissy fit and get paid the same amount of money to not leave my house, or I can not do that and get up and have to go to work every day and deal with all that. Man, look, if that was an option for me, I would shake my ass and work from home and build a Save Jackson empire while I was getting paid. I think any of us would, for the most part. I mean, unless some of you just don't want to be at home. I mean, that's a you situation. I think any of us would rather get to stay at home and spend time with our families and get paid to do it. So I'm not mad at anybody, you know, for making that choice or having the ability to make that choice. But let's not fool ourselves. Most of these people were not scared of getting COVID. They saw an opportunity to not have to go to work and get paid to not go. That's all there is to it. Anybody that says otherwise is lying. I mean, there may be a few at risk, you know, older teachers, unhealthy, you know, overweight, diabetic, heart condition. I'm sure there is that. I had plenty of fat teachers growing up.
Oh my God.
You know, that's out there. I get it.
You had plenty of fat teachers.
I know that sounds
Really?
mean. I know that sounds mean, but let's just be honest. I mean, you sit around all day. I mean, you know, I'm damn near 300 pounds sitting behind a desk all day now. It happens when you sit around all day. It just is what it is. As you get older, you get unhealthier if you ain't really, really being aggressive in the gym or with your diet and all that. So anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. We're just going to stick to what I said. There's a lot of teachers out there that knew they could get paid without going to work.
I had a lot of fat teachers. Apparently.
Ashley says she'd rather be working, to be honest. And look, I'm glad there's people out there like that. I mean, absolutely. Let's see, I heard somebody say I hit the nail on the head. Yeah, Brian says, hit the nail on the head one more time. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Amy just says, just heard 3 gunshots. Welcome to South Jackson. Mm-hmm. Ashley says, I'm staying at home due to my child's health issues. Couldn't work with COVID patients, unfortunately. No, look, everybody's situation is a little different, and we don't discount that COVID is real. I just think a lot of people are taking advantage of the outright the situation. And I don't blame them for doing it. I think it's human nature to sit there and say, oh, well, let me think about that. Especially if you get to do it with like a silent vote.
Well, especially if you're making more staying at home.
Yeah.
Than you would be.
Yeah, not having to go to work and deal with it. I mean, if you were a part of a union, which I know there's not a teachers union here, it's different. But if you were part of a group and you got to make a non-accountability vote, you know, but just a blind vote, whatever they call it. Mm-hmm. I've never partaken in such a thing. never been part of such a strong group. But if you got to take a vote and just say yes or no without having to attach your name to it, be honest, about 90% of us or more would vote no, stay at home, or stay closed or whatever, however they would word it. And I don't blame you, but it's put Jackson in a bad situation, and it's going to affect these children's lives for a long time. So I hope you enjoy sitting at home. And there's going to be one day we're going to get a breaking news thing on our phones, and it's going to be like 15-year-old kid shot and killed in the streets that would have been in school today. And I just, if you can handle that guilt, by all means.
What about all the businesses that are going to be shut down too?
Plenty of businesses shut down. We're going to get to that. So I've had a theory for a long time here that, as you know, if you follow this page, there's no reason for businesses to be shut down. There was no reason to do a shutdown, a close down, or none of that crap. There was no reason to say one business was mandatory and the other wasn't, or essential, or whatever word they chose. I did enjoy the lack of traffic when the non-essentials were not working. But
Non-essentials.
So today, some breaking news out of Nashville, Tennessee. Emails were leaked. This is on Outkick.com and just about any other website in the country. Officials in the Nashville Health Department and Mayor John Cooper's office are being accused of colluding to conceal the low amount of people whose positive coronavirus cases were traced back to bars and restaurants, as Fox 17 revealed leaked emails. One leaked email exchange between Mayor Cooper's senior advisor, Benjamin Eagles, and Health Department official Leslie Waller revealed that as of June 30th, just 22 cases had been linked back to bars and restaurants. After that data was disclosed, the exchange in emails went as follows. Keep in mind, 22 cases in a major city like Nashville with all those bars and restaurants. Waller says, "This isn't going to be publicly released, right? Just info for the mayor's office, ? Cooper, correct, not for public consumption." Fox 17 also uncovered an email from an unnamed Nashville Health Department official in response to an inquiry about how to handle a question from Tennessean reporter Nate Raoult. In late July, Raoult asked Health Department officials about intel that just 80 cases of the 20,000 in Davidson County, which is where Nashville is, were attributed to exposure at bars and restaurants. Brian Todd, the health department official who sent the email asking how the department should respond, got the following answer from an unnamed official. Quote, "My 2 cents, we have certainly refused to give counts per bar because those numbers are low per site." That means low per individual bar. "We could still release the total though, and then a response to the over 80 could be because the number is increasing all the time and we don't want to say a specific number." The mayor's office declined to confirm or deny the email to Fox 17. City Council member Steve Glover said he had an attorney reveal the authenticity of the emails and accused Metro Nashville of fabricating information in an orchestrated cover-up. I don't know what the long-term gain is. I'm waiting to find out. Clay Travis over at Outkick is in Nashville, owns a bar there, and just interviewed the president for the second time today in 3 months. To say he's connected, and we'll get to the bottom of it, is probably an understatement. But I say that to say this. You don't think that's going on here in Jackson? I would love for somebody that gets paid to do this, what we're doing here full-time, a reporter here, to do a freedom of information inquiry and get some emails and phone records and all that. And we probably don't even have the contact tracing information here, but you know damn well that bars and restaurants had nothing to do with this to begin with, had very little to do with this. It's your grocery stores and everything else.
Mike Rice says he has a personal personal vendetta against certain establishments
Who does?
in Nashville. The guy in Nashville.
So I'll have to get back to that.
Mayor Cooper.
Cooper has vendettas against certain establishments in Nashville.
Yes, I was looking for his name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure. Just like the mayor here does. It's obvious based on a few weeks ago when they were harassing places like Pops, Elton Swamp. I hate making things about race, but it seems pretty obvious that, if you're a white business owner in Jackson, that this administration is not giving you the same benefit of the doubt.
Brian Nickens says Tate Reeves does too.
Tate Reeves has plenty of things going on.
People are asking where you got your shirt.
This is a Save Jackson exclusive, this shirt here. I actually, we have it on our Save Jackson Teespring account, but I need to reactivate it. I took it off because I haven't been trying to sell shirts lately. I guess I need to get back to trying to sell some shirts now that I have a way to promote it. So the Make Jackson Great Again, which, let's just be honest, it's probably unlikely that Jackson will ever be great again. At least not in our lifetimes. So Corey says, bars sure have nothing to do with it here. If it didn't spread with the hundreds of bars in Nashville. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's my point. If in a city like Nashville, which is kind of, it's as big as Atlanta. Yeah. If the NFL is there, the NHL is there, all that's going on there, it's a massive city. If it's less than 100 cases between all those bars on Broadway and downtown in the whole county, it surely is less than that here. And it ain't because they were shut down. Sorry. The group of people that are going out to bars are in that pretty safe age group. Yeah. And I'm not going to buy into them catching it and bringing it home and getting pawpaw sick. That argument don't fly with me, and the numbers, frankly, don't back it up.
Mike Rice says, I still can't understand Cooper's endgame.
Yeah, so Mike says he can't understand Cooper's endgame, which is the mayor in Nashville. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to Clay Travis's podcast on the way home that he does every day, and he's got a theory. I'm going to guess, like in New York with de Blasio, it has something to do with trying to run certain businesses out of an area to bring real estate values down and then buy the property. That is the only end game that I personally can think of in running businesses for a mayor to run entire segments of businesses out. They would probably love to shut down some of these older bars in downtown Nashville right there on Broadway and build new condominiums and stuff like that. From a business standpoint, it probably makes more sense. The real estate in downtown Nashville is probably way more valuable for a new high-rise condo than it is Tootsie's. Mm-hmm. Or Hard Rock Cafe.
Some little.
Or, little kind of legendary dive bar that's eating up very, very valuable real estate that the people own, paying just whatever the minimum income tax is.
Mike's impossible.
Yeah, I think that's probably the end game there. It's always about money. Follow the money. It's never about anything else. That's what all this is about, is money. Just like in Mississippi and everywhere else, the more COVID cases these hospitals claim, the more money they get. Dobbs can tell you whatever lie he wants. It is not, it's almost insulting that he would get up there and tell this lie when he was doing his myth busting the other day. It's a lie. All you have to do is Google it. People tell me Google it all the time. Google it. It's easy to find. I'm trying to do good tonight. I'm trying to stay balanced. not left, not right. Well, I'm never going to go left. But I'm trying not to be right, too far to the right tonight. Somebody gave me a little advice earlier today. Actually, one of my left-wing friends, who I never agree with, said, try to keep it balanced. You'll do better. And I was like, you know what? I respect the man enough to give that a whirl. I think what we're doing tonight is very balanced.
We try to be open-minded.
I do. We try to be open-minded here and try to let the numbers speak for themselves. Unfortunately, everything in life has been made political nowadays, racial and political. So you can't talk about anything without somehow going back to that. So anyway. All right. Did y'all see, and we can come back to any of this stuff y'all want to. Crystal's watching the comments for me. She'll keep me posted. Did y'all see where a man in Rankin County has been sentenced to 42 years in prison for car burglaries in Rankin County? Now, look, I am all about enforcing crime and laws and even making an example here and there. Man, that's strong. That's strong. Let's read the story. Let's see what else is going on with it. Rankin County, this is on WLBT. Rankin County, a judge sentenced a Jackson man to 42 years in prison for a string of auto burglaries in Rankin County. The burglaries were reported on September 30th and October 1st in 2017. The next day, Rankin County Sheriff's Department arrested Woodrez Davis. Davis, 43, was charged with 12 counts of automobile burglary. He pleaded guilty earlier this year after serving time for previous offenses. There's no other details to it. It's a black dude, same age as me.
Well, a lot of people are saying, there's a lot of people that don't get that much time for killing somebody.
They don't. I'm telling you, I don't care what side of the aisle you're on, left or right. We can't have it's like one extreme or the other in the Tri-County area. In Jackson, there's no jail. In Rankin County, it's 42 years is like a life sentence for a 43-year-old. And that would put that man at 85 years old if he serves day for day. Yeah, if he serves day for day, that puts that man at 85 years old getting out of jail. Even if he serves 50% of the time, that's 21 years. 21. My daughter's only 18. I mean, I think of it about like that. I mean, he will live a whole nother life waiting to be old enough to drink when he gets out of jail. And, so 21 plus 42, 63 years old. Mm-hmm. Man, the state does not need to be paying for a man to be in prison for that long for breaking in cars. No. I don't care what his track record was prior to that. There's got to be an in-between. There's got to be something. We need prison reform here. I know Donald Trump signed a bill. That's not really, prison reform is not my hill to die on. I don't do a whole lot of research on it. I just look at things with my eyes and say, man, that's messed up. And that's messed up. I'm planning on having Benny Ivy on here soon. We just got to get the date worked out. And this is Benny's hill to die on. He knows all about it. And we'll talk to Benny about that. And, if you follow Napoleon's show over at the Cypher Voice, it's definitely his hill to die on as well. He's been he talks about it all the time, but he's especially been hot on it this week. So I lean towards guys like that with stuff like this, but it don't take a rocket scientist or an expert to tell you that this is messed up. 42 years for any amount of car burglaries is too much in one sentencing.
I was looking to see how long my cousin was sentenced for what he went to jail for. 25 years.
So Crystal has a cousin that was in Starkville and was in college. How old was he?
18.
He was 18 years old. Him and some friends had been out drinking. He was driving.
It was probably one of his first times ever drinking.
And they had a wreck, and how many people died?
I don't want to tell you wrong. It was a few.
A couple kids died in the wreck. And
they were all drinking?
They were all drinking and chose to get in the car. And he was sentenced to 25, I say only 25 years. But he was sentenced to 25 years in jail for drinking and driving. Would be homicides, however you say it. But he killed a couple of his friends, died. I don't think anybody will argue that jail time wasn't warranted. But he gets 25 years for multiple drinking and driving homicides. And this man got 42 years for breaking in cars. That is a major discrepancy, and that is an issue. You know, no consistency from jurisdiction to jurisdiction to jurisdiction. You know, that's how you keep crime down in Rankin County. You know, they do not want that there, and they use opportunities like this as a big billboard that says, don't F up here. So, man, that's bad. But look, nothing we're going to say on here is going to change it. We went through Dion. We went through the COVID numbers compared to the homicide numbers. Did y'all see my post about the YMCA in downtown today? The one on the east side of Fortification? All the pictures, abandoned, gutted. Pool is a cesspool. It's now Priscilla says the man was a repeat offender, and I get that. He was a repeat offender, but 42 years is still too much under any circumstances for a nonviolent crime. Just period.
It's a bit much.
Yep. But all right. Look, man, I don't see any sense in a big long show tonight. I know it's getting late. Y'all's time is valuable. My time is too. I want to remind everybody, check out Danny White and his crew, Father and a Son, Southern Lawn Care. If you need your yard cut, manicured, any of that stuff, he is your guy. Clinton, Byron, Florence, Pearl, Brandon, Richland, Terry, hit up Danny. 601-301-3210. That is 601-301-3210. Something else I want to mention. Was listening to Napoleon before I went on tonight. They are organizing a big protest and a rally in front of City Hall next Friday, September 25th at noon, 12 p.m. lunchtime. They're going to be out there. They're going to have a podium set up, microphones, speakers, the whole 9 yards. People are going to be able to speak. Families of murder victims are going to be able to speak. They're going to make some big announcements. They are taking the fight to Chokwe's doorstep, and we will be there with them. I'm calling out everybody on this page. Next Friday, September 25th, on the steps of City Hall in Jackson, come protest with us. Peaceful protest. And let's let them know that we have had enough. We're going to protest Chokwe. We're going to protest these do-nothing city council members. And we're going to attempt to make some change around here. It's being organized by the Cipher Voice, Napoleon Edwards, and his crew.
Somebody said the third strike and you're out rule.
Yeah, I understand the 3 strikes rule, and I don't agree with that either.
Well, my nephew had never been in trouble in his life.
Yeah.
Ever. He's never even started his life, really.
I know, that's sad. But, I mean, given the situation, people lost their lives. You can reconcile that a little bit, but it's still a bad situation. There's no road for redemption. That's the problem I have with the prison system. There's no road for redemption. Anybody who gets out of jail, rarely do you hear any positive stories. Now, granted, I know some people just get out and shut up and go on about their lives. Not everybody gets into giving their testimonies and doing all that, but you just always hear about repeat offenders and people who went hardcore to church and everything else. There never seems to be an in-between with prison reform. It's back in prison or leading a church. You just never meet that guy who did a couple years and went on about his business. But it ain't like people wear it on the shirt that says, I was once in prison, leave me alone.
But he had a 4.0 GPA and was an ROTC.
Yep.
And was a very good kid.
He was.
And he made a bad decision. But I do think the punishment he's been dealt is a little bit.
Yep.
You know.
He was. We'll do a show on that one night.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. That's a lot to throw on people. And especially without a mic on that side of the table. So
it might be better.
we'll let Crystal talk about. I say we'll let Crystal, if she wants to, we'll talk about her family and that situation. And it's a sad deal, you know. So many lives are changed through one bad decision. Well, multiple bad decisions. It was not just the driver. But look, let's land this plane. Y'all be sure, if you're looking for a great family fitness center to join, the gym at Byram is your spot. Located in the former courthouse location there beside Walmart in Byram. It is an amazing facility. I work out there 4 or 5 times a week. That number grows the more I tell the story. 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Anyway, the gym at Byram, you can reach them at 601-372-2229, thegymatbyram.com. They have waived the joining fee for the rest of the month. It is $55 for a single membership or $85 for a family membership. Child care included with your membership. Big pool, indoor basketball, tennis, classes, tanning beds, all sorts of stuff going on there. Cannot find a better health facility in the Tri-County area. Y'all take it easy. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we will be back tomorrow night with our college football scoreboard and Friday night free-for-all show. Thank y'all. Peace out.